here. Today's workout is going to take you 20 minutes to complete. What we're going to do is we're going to alternate between high intensity blocks and low intensity blocks. For the high intensity blocks, it's a Tabata. That's 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. That's just body weight exercises. The goal is to get your heart rate up, lots of jumping around. For the low intensity blocks, don't confuse low intensity with easy. It's just a little slower pace. I'm going to give you 6 exercises. We're going to use weight, and you're going to do each exercise for 60 seconds. So it's longer intervals, less rest, a little heavier, but no jumping around. I'm using a set of 10-pound dumbbells today, and I want you to scale up or down from there depending on your fitness level. Pick a weight that's medium to you. And if you have access to lots of weights, maybe grab 2 sets, one a little heavier, one a little lighter, so that you can adjust as needed by exercise. As with all workouts, you want to make sure that you're properly warmed up beforehand and always listen to your body, modifying or stopping as needed. If you're new to my channel, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever music you like. So if you don't have a playlist queued up, you might want to go do that now. I'm going to give you a little preview of what to expect from each section before we actually do it. So if you're confused right now and a little overwhelmed, don't worry. I'm going to show you everything and then we will do it. If you're warmed up, you have a set of weights, you have some music ready.
We're going to start standing for that truck driver squat. You're just going to need one weight. You're going to bring it to chest height. We're going to start by squatting down, hold the low squat, do a chest press, extending the weight in front of you, and then you're just going to dip the weight up and down, kind of twisting it side to side. It's called a truck driver because you're kind of spinning it like a wheel, although I hope none of you actually drive your car like that. We would be in a lot of trouble. When you squat down, I want you to keep weight in your heels, button hips slide down and back, and let's make sure that we're still engaged through the core. So if your low back is starting to get a little cranky on these, that might just mean that you have forgotten about the abs and we're kind of arching into the back. So think about knitting your ribs together, pulling the low abs up and in throughout this exercise. Now notice as I come back up to stand, I'm bringing the hips forward and really squeezing my bum. Now you don't want to hyperextend. You want to bring those hips forward while still holding in tight through the core. So kind of think about coming up to a vertical plank position at the top. A few more seconds here. All right, now we're going to grab both weights. We are going to be in a split lunge position to start. I'm starting with my left foot forward and my right foot back. Doesn't matter which side though, because we'll switch. From the low lunge position, you're going to give me 2 bicep curls. And then with that front foot staying stationary, you're going to lift that back leg up and tilt forward. Now, a couple form things here. I want you to make sure that your stationary leg, you're not locking out the knee. So I need a soft little bend as you go into that balancing position. Second important form thing, I want you to try to keep your hips square to the floor. Now, whatever leg you lift up behind you, that hip's going to want to kind of rotate open. Don't do that. Don't roll open through the hips. Think of pulling that hip bone down in line with the stationary hip so that both hip bones same distance from the floor. Take your time in the balance. You can even pause for a breath or two once you find it before landing right back down in that lunge. Okay, let's switch sides. Your other foot's going to come forward. It's the exact same thing on the other side. Usually we have a little better balance on one side than the other. This is my bad side, so you'll notice a little wobbling. For whatever reason, my left side, champion balancer, right side, wobbling all over the place. Do those little form checks for me. Remember, let's make sure that our hips stay square to the floor as we lean forward, and let's keep a soft bend in that front leg the whole time. We're not locking out the knee. As you tilt forward, make sure you don't hunch. I don't want the weight of those dumbbells to cause your shoulders to hunch forward. Roll your shoulders down your back. Your chest stays broad. Ribs knit together. Our core is engaged. Core is going to help you balance on this one. Last few seconds. All right, we're going to come into a shoulder complex here. Start with your elbows bent at 90 degrees as if you were just doing a hammer curl. Now you're holding them at 90 degrees the whole time until you get to the shoulder press overhead. And it's just a series of hinges. So we lift the elbows up wide to the side, then you rotate those arms open, and then you give me 2 shoulder presses at the top, returning to goalpost position after each one. For this exercise, you might find that it's a little too heavy and you have to drop down in weight. That is absolutely fine. Take your time. Make sure that your knees aren't locked out. Anytime we do standing upper body work, we want soft bend to the knees and we want to really engage through the core here. So don't puff your rib cage out, instead knit them together. Few more seconds here. We're going to go into our next move at the beeps. Okay, so shoulders aren't off the hook yet. We're going to go into a crossbody squat. So I want your feet a little wider on this one, a little wider than hips distance, toes angled out. We're going to sink down low into a squat, and as we come up, we're pivoting, and we are going to punch one weight overhead across our body. So sorry, shoulders are not off the hook yet. Low in your squat and twist. Notice how I'm lifting the heel and pivoting on that back foot as I do this. Try to make it an explosive movement. So you don't want to sacrifice form, but I want everything lifting up and twisting at the same time. So it's a powerful lift, twist, punch all at once, and then slowly return back to that starting position in that low squat. Feet wide, toes angled out. Try to get in a couple more to each side. At the beeps, we're going to take it down to the floor. Last exercise is a weighted sit-up. You want one of the weights between your feet and the other one at your chest. Sorry if you guys are hearing sirens. There's something going on outside my apartment building. Squeeze the weight that's between your feet so that you're staying locked into place. And then with the weight that's at your chest, it's really important that it stays touching your chest the whole time. You're going to have the urge to extend that weight in front of you for leverage. That will make the sit-up easier. We don't want to do that. Keep it pressed against your chest. Now, if you modify, then of course you could take that weight away and just do body weight. This is our last exercise of this weighted circuit. After this, we'll go into a high intensity body weight blast. We're going to be doing a Tabata. So finish strong here with the weight, crunching up, get that whole back off the floor, slowly lowering back down. A few more seconds to go. All right, now while you rest, I'm going to show you what to expect from our Tabata set. Eight times. We're going to start with chest to floor burpees. No weights for this section. All right, so you jump up, bring your hands to the floor, lower all the way down to the ground, peel yourself off, press back to your feet, and jump up overhead. Now, if you need to modify these, don't lower your chest all the way to the floor. Just jump your feet back into a plank and do it from there. Okay, you have 10 seconds to rest. Next up, we're going to be in a plank position. We're going to do a plank jack, and then we'll bend the knees, bringing our feet into a bear position. All right, let's go. Out, in, bear. Out, in, bear. Keep it going. Now, when you land in that bear, you want your knees right under your hips, hovering off the floor about 2 inches. Now, let's check in on our shoulders. You want to keep them right over the wrists the whole time. You might find yourself kind of pressing the shoulders back, almost supermaning your arms out ahead. Don't do that. Rest. Sorry, talking too much. A few seconds to catch your breath here. We are going to come into a low squat. You got a jack with a star jump. So feet narrow, jump them out wide, staying low in your squat. Bring them narrow again, and you're going to jump up, reaching your arms and legs out wide. Really get big and explosive on this one. I want you to take up space. You might feel a little silly doing these. I get it, but they're awesome. It takes a lot of energy to get that big. So don't be shy. Big every time. And rest. Last exercise, crab kick. So these are going to burn out your triceps. You're kind of coming into a reverse tabletop here. We're bending and straightening through the elbows as we kick one foot up and then jump over to the other. Now, if you need to modify these, instead of jumping over one foot to the next, just step. So kick one foot up, step it to the ground, and then do the other side. You'll notice by jumping, there's a microsecond where both feet are off the floor. So modifying, you just eliminate that. Okay, we got to do those one more time. You're already halfway through. Flies by, right? Burpees at the beeps. You're over halfway there. Let's keep it going. Remember, the goal of a Tabata is to really challenge yourself. You want to be out of breath. Rest. We're going to make our way down to that plank position. You have the jack to the bear. In these 20 seconds, I want you to get in as many reps as you possibly can without sacrificing proper form. So it is continuous movement. You're pushing yourself right to the absolute last second. We have just 2 more work intervals to get through. Come to your feet. We're going to do that squat jack into that star jump. Wide, narrow, big with the arms. So when you jack the feet out and in, you're staying low in the squat. So you want to really be low, and then it's only when you do that star jump that you straighten out the legs, kicking them out to the side as those arms reach out. Remember, I want you big on those. Rest. All right, just 20 more seconds to go. You can do it. As you can see, I am out of breath here. Let's push ourselves. 20 seconds on the clock. Crab kicks. Let's go. Over halfway there. Let's do it. Maybe you try to pick up the pace. Challenge yourself. You are not going to stop a single second early. We're going right to the beeps, and then you get to rest. All right. So we're going to do that whole thing one more time from the top. I know you guys know what to expect, but I'm just going to show you again so that you have time to catch your breath. Circuit. We're going to start with those truck driver squats. Weight at chest, you're lowering down into your squat. You extend the arms forward, twist it side to side, bring the hands in, and stand up. So the goal of this weighted set is to do the full 6 minutes without any rest. So we're moving one exercise right to the next. That being said, yes, it's continuous work, but it's not quick work. I don't care how many reps you get in necessarily. I want you to focus on form and on working the whole time without stopping. So let's go down the checklist here. Your ribs knit together. You roll your shoulders down your spine. Chest stays broad and lifted as you do these. Weight is in your heels. So as you bend those knees and lower into your squat, picture someone's grabbing you by the back of the pants, pulling your hips back and down into this. When you extend the weight out in front of you for that twist, try to keep it right around chest height the whole time. Don't let those arms lower down towards your belly button. Few more seconds here. Okay, grab both weights. We're going to go to the curl to balance. I'm going to start with my right foot forward this time. I started with the left foot forward the last time. Again, doesn't matter because we will switch after these first 60 seconds. You have 2 bicep hammer curls at the bottom, and then you press off that back foot and hinge forward, coming into that free fall position. So the 2 form things I want you thinking about for the lower body when you take off into that balancing position. Soft bend to your standing knee. Do not lock it out. Hips square to the floor. Don't roll open. With your upper body, let's make sure we're not hunching. You roll those shoulders down your back. Chest is staying broad. And I want you to notice if you're pushing out through the rib cage. If you are, we got to reverse that. We need core engagement on this one to help us balance. You're going to knit the ribs together. Almost there. We've got just a few more seconds on this side. At the beeps, all you're going to do is switch which foot is in front. All right, let's come to that split lunge position on the other side. Other foot forward. You're on the ball of the back foot. 2 hammer curls, and then we take off into that balancing position. So your sides might feel different on this one. I know for me, way better with balance on the left side for whatever reason, not so much on the right. Go slow on this one. It's not about how many reps you get in. Maybe even pause when you find that balancing position. Pause for a second and then shift your body weight back, landing down in that split lunge position. Good. So you've got about 2 more reps to go. At the beeps that are coming up, we are going to take it into that shoulder complex. All right, so we're standing upright. Soft bend to the knees, though, and your core needs to be engaged on this one. I don't want your pelvic bone tilting forward. So think of pulling up and in through the low abs. Now notice during this, you're keeping your elbows at 90 degrees the whole time until you get to the top and give me those shoulder presses. And from there, it's just a hinge open and then a rotation open, 2 shoulder presses at the top. That rotation open and close, kind of like you're opening the lid on a box, should be really challenging. That being said, it might be a little too much with the weights that you were just using for that lower body stuff. So this would be a good one to use a drop set if you do have one on hand and it's getting to be a little too much. You're almost there. Get right into it. I had to stop there for a second, but keep going. Okay, we're going to come into that crossbody squat. So bring the weights to your shoulders. Again, you want your feet wider than hips distance on this one with the toes angled out slightly, so it's more of a sumo squat. And then as you drive up, you're pivoting the back foot, twist to the side, crossbody punch with that weight. So make that upward movement explosive. So you're driving up, twisting, punching all at once. One big movement. And with control, bring it back to center. If the shoulders are just dying on you after that shoulder complex, you can take out the punch and just do a couple reps driving up and pivoting the lower body with the weight staying at your shoulders. Maybe do a couple like that and then try to add back in that punch. Few more seconds to go here at the beeps. We go into our last exercise of this weighted set. You're going to come to the floor for a sit-up. You want one weight between your feet. You might not need this. If you find that you can do the weighted sit-up without your feet lifting off the floor, then you don't need the one that's between your feet. But if every time you sit up, crunching with the weight against your chest, your feet lift up for a second, then use the weight. I want them to stay down for these. You're over halfway finished with this one. Now, if that weight is pulling away from your chest, we got to correct it. I really want it touching you the whole time. That's going to make it more challenging. If we lift the weight away from our center of gravity, it gets a little easier. We can kind of use it for leverage. We don't want that. Try to get in a couple more reps at the beeps. You are officially done with the weights, and you'll just have one more Tabata until the end of your workout. Let's go. Okay, and rest. Once again, I'm going to show you what to expect from the Tabata. You already know what it is. You've done it before, but this is just going to give you an opportunity to catch your breath before we get to it. Coming up, 20 seconds on, you know the deal, start with those burpees, let's go. Modification for these, again, just come to a plank position, don't lower your chest all the way to the ground. All right, now, this is not easy, I know we're at the point where we're tired, but just 20 seconds at a time, and in 4 minutes, you are done for good. And rest. Coming up next, we'll be in that plank position for those jacks to the bear. For these, I find it's helpful to kind of find a rhythm and hold myself to it. So you'll notice I'm going out in bear, out in bear. And rest. Okay, 2 down, 6 intervals to go. Let's do it. We got that squat star jump. So I know you might feel a little silly doing these, but I want you to get really big on the star jump. It's important. Notice that when I'm landing right back down low in that squat position. So you want to land softly and low. That's going to be the best option for your knees. If you need to modify these, just do the squat jack. You can take out that star jump or just jump straight up. Crab kicks coming up next. So this is a full body exercise. Your core is engaged. You're squeezing your glutes as you kick one leg side to side, but I really want you to feel these in your triceps. So make sure as you kick side to side, you're bending and pressing through those elbows. And rest. Okay, just like that, we are halfway through this Tabata, all right? We got to do each of those exercises just one more time, and then you are done with this workout. So dig deep, everything you got. Let's go. Remember, your goal here, as many reps as you can in the interval without sacrificing proper form. Oh man, you can tell I'm starting to slow down on that way up, struggling a little bit. Keep going. Okay, check that exercise off the list. It's on to that plank position for our jack to bear. Just 3 more pushes to go. You got this. Feet jump wide, narrow, knees bend in, landing in that hovering bear position. You want these quick. Out, in, forward, back. Just a few more seconds to go. And rest. Okay, check that one off the list. 2 more exercises. That's 40 seconds total of work. You got this. That is nothing. All right, low in that squat position, jumping your feet out and in, and then jumping up, getting big in that star shape. Again, to modify, just jump straight up, or you can eliminate that jump up altogether and just stay low, giving me those squat jacks. But I want you active right to the end. Keep moving. Maybe you try to pick up the pace a little bit. You're almost to that rest interval. All right, you got 20 seconds left. Make your way down to the floor. We have those crab kicks one last time. 20 seconds to go. That is it. I want continuous movement this entire 20-second block. If you need to slow it down a little bit in order to keep the form correct, that's absolutely fine. But keep active, keep moving. You're not going to stop a single second early. You have come too far. You're too close to the end. And there it is.
Hope you enjoyed that workout. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, you know the drill, subscribe to my channel. Before I sign off, I want you guys to leave a comment below. Let me know what kind of equipment you like to see incorporated into these videos. Do you just like body weight? I've already got some requests for resistance bands. Maybe you want more kettlebell. I'm also thinking about buying a step bench so we can add some elevation into it. Those are super fun for leg work. I don't know, leave a comment below and I will try to incorporate more equipment into these videos in 2018. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys next week.